Summer is here, which means we all want to look and feel our best. A GLP-1 may be right for you. Visit orderlymeds.com to learn more about which GLP-1 you could be eligible for. Getting started is fast, easy, and happens virtually through telemedicine from licensed professionals. Check it out for yourself. Go to orderlymeds.com/podcast. That's orderlymeds.com/podcast. Taking care of yourself feels great. Compounded medications are not FDA approved. Eligibility required and determined by a licensed provider. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
Yay Networks.
Welcome to A Sandwich and Some Lovin' podcast. I'm Kelly Raspberry Evans. I do the podcast with my husband of 5 years now, Alan Evans.
A train in the house.
Talking about, well, we started off talking about blending families, but that's 5 years ago. We've mastered it, wouldn't you say, honey? So now we just talk about other stuff.
Yeah. There's only so much we could talk about. Actually, we still talk about things that happen with our blended family. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah. I was just joking.
You were.
We just kind of talk about our lives in general at this point.
But you know what you weren't joking about?
What?
We just ate at a chain steak restaurant. And
we could walk to it from our house.
Yes.
It's that close.
Yes, and we sat down.
Did you give them your membership number tonight?
No.
I didn't think you did.
I sure didn't.
We could have gotten some membership points.
We sit down. I put on my cheaters. I'm looking at my menu. Kelly's looking at her menu. I kind of peek over my menu at Kelly. She peeks over her menu at me, and she says, "What's up, Santa Claus?"
Something like that. That's a little...
So I take off my cheaters and I look at them, and they remarkably do look like a pair of glasses that Santa Claus would wear.
What's up, Santa?
They're frameless
cheaters.
Cheaters.
I was waiting for Alan to toast me because we went out to dinner tonight, and I've had a very rough couple of days.
Yes,
I've
you
survived a couple of days, and we went out to eat tonight, and I said, "Do you mind if I get a little glass of vino?" He said, "No." But the tradition is whenever I order a glass of wine, Alan toasts me.
I do.
And so I was waiting for him to finish putting the artificial sweetener in your tea. And that's when...
Splenda.
Yeah, that's when I looked at you and said, "What's up, Santa?"
Yeah, you did.
That's what happened.
And you just flew in from LaGuardia, and boy, are your arms tired.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It was, do y'all want to hear it?
Oh, you're going to tell it.
I'm going to tell it in
Yes.
real time. I'm going to try to be concise about my wild and crazy and longer than I expected weekend in New York City.
That was wild and crazy.
It was.
And we'll get into that.
We will.
We'll get into that.
What else are we going to get into, honey? There's not going to be time for anything else. Seriously. This could take up the entire podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure some other things will come up. I don't have my list in front of me, but I'm sure they will.
So you didn't write a list, is what you're saying.
People love lists.
They do. I love lists.
You do love lists.
I love lists. I have a running book of lists that I love. I think I'm up to 200 and something on my list of things to do.
We finished Lincoln Lawyer. Did we talk about that?
I don't know that we did, honey. It's been a while.
I mean, we've
since
been talking about
podcasted.
Lincoln Lawyer, but we finally finished it.
We finally finished it, and we were very disappointed.
I've got just a bunch of colored question marks over my head right now.
Yeah.
I had no idea what happened.
I know. There was so many twists and turns and ahas. There was
Right.
a lot of ahas.
But it was too many ahas.
But it was like, that made no sense.
Give me one big aha. I don't need 28 ahas.
I don't understand about the judge at the final scene. That
Me either. No idea.
I know it was you. And it's like, I don't know. I don't even know what you are talking about. Honestly, I don't even know what they're talking about on Lincoln Lawyer. And I was enjoying it. And a lot of people that have seen it love it. But I'm telling you, that last episode was all the gotcha moments and the ahas and the you were lying and you did it and you did that. And we're just like, boom, 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 boom. It's like, okay. That I just don't know. I just was not happy. It was so, I think we did talk about it because I said it was so confusing that I had to go online right after we watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to look up what the final episode was about. We did talk about it.
I still don't know what it was about.
Still have no closure on it. Maybe somebody can explain some of the plot twists to us. But that was a previous podcast. But there's no harm in revisiting the past every once in a while.
I don't know. Santa Claus forgets things.
I'm going to revisit my past weekend maybe if you follow along with me on Instagram at Kelly Raspberry, you are already very aware of what happened to me this weekend.
Yeah, what's up, Instagram? All of a sudden, you're this big Instagrammer.
Well, you were all over me that I need to engage more.
I wasn't all over you.
You were. You were telling me I needed to engage more. There's nothing wrong with that.
Speaking of engage more, so back to the chain steak restaurant. Waiter walks up. He introduces himself as
Chance.
And Kelly has to tell him,
you're the second Chance I've known in my lifetime.
mm-hmm.
I went to school with a Chance,
Mm-hmm.
and his brother's name was Lance. Chance and Lance. I said, and Chance went on to be very successful. He's a scientist.
And that poor waiter had the biggest case of dumb face. He was just,
I was like, but that's enough of that.
yeah.
I'll have a glass of wine, please.
Yes.
What was wrong with that? You didn't even flinch. I'm surprised.
Well, I'm used to it.
Well, I'm surprised you're bringing it up now because you didn't even flinch when that happened at dinner.
Well, I mean, you know how many times I've heard this kind of interaction?
What's wrong with it?
There's nothing wrong with it. It's just your thing. That's what you do.
Chance was named after some TV cowboy. His mother was pregnant with him at the time and saw some TV cowboy named Chance, and that's what he was named after, who he was named after.
I engage too, just in
Not much.
not like you, but in certain situations.
I like to engage. And I think it does help you when you engage, when you establish a personal connection, because that can help you in critical situations, like trying to get home from New York City when all the flights are canceled.
Oh,
You know?
good segue.
It's true. Though when you kind of develop like a personal relationship and you're not just screaming at the ticket agent because trust me, I mean, truthfully, not trust me, truthfully, none of it's their fault. They're just trying to help you figure out your next move.
Were you
But
nice to everybody?
I was very nice to everybody.
Did
In
you
fact,
smell
I was
good?
complimented,
Did you smell good?
I guess.
Were you showered?
I had showered the day before, I'll be honest.
Okay.
I hadn't showered that morning. My plan was to get up, go to the airport, and when I got home, I was going to take a shower then. So I'll be honest, no, I had not showered
Whoa.
that morning.
Little swass?
I'll tell you. What?
Little swass?
What's that mean?
Swamp ass?
No, don't say stuff like that.
I
That's
had
so gross.
swass.
That's gross.
No, remember I had swass
I don't
up
need
in...
to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Enough of that.
What?
So we went to this hotel.
I had swass.
And my daughter wanted to go see. Are you done?
I'm done. Go ahead. I'm done.
I took him and Kelly to see Harry Styles.
Uh-huh.
Long story short, I was not able to get tickets in this lottery system. I came up shorthanded, and I was trying to get tickets through my work, which everybody thinks it's so easy for me to get tickets to things, and it's really not. It's not like it was in the old days. That payola, plugola stuff ruined everything for me. But anyway, so I was trying to get tickets through the regular means, and then one of our favorite customers, one of our podcast listeners said, "Hey, Kelly, I got tickets to Harry's first night, Madison Square Garden, and I'm not going to be able to go. Would you like to buy them for face value?" Absolutely, I would. Absolutely.
Can we name said customer? That'd be Becky.
Becky,
How
thank you.
come
Becky,
I know
Becky
that,
Isteris,
but you don't?
Isteris. I couldn't remember it. Now I know. Isteris, right? Is that how you say her last name?
Listener,
Becky. I just couldn't remember. I had a brain lapse.
who champions the listener?
Why would you put me on the spot like that?
Well, how do I know her name? I didn't even get a ticket.
It's like when I introduce you to somebody and you can see that I don't say, "Hi, Becky, this is Allen." If I'm just saying, "Hey, have you met my husband?" You should know at that point Kelly's having trouble remembering a name.
One of our
Instead
very
of
best
blasting
customers,
me.
Becky
I can see her face, but I just couldn't place her name. But now I've been put on blast, and now I'm embarrassed, Becky. I'm sorry, but the name slipped me. But I had a glass of wine tonight.
Hey, man.
A big pour.
Why'd you throw me on Front Street? Hey, man.
My supportive husband. Anyway, so she sells me the tickets for face value. Awesome. So
How much?
Face value, honey, was $100 something each. I don't know.
That's it?
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Wow.
But then you have to fly to New York. You have to stay at a hotel. And then McKelly really loved the movie Phantom of the Opera with Gerard Butler, which I didn't even know he could sing, and some other actress who also slips my name right now, but I can see her face.
That's how I was with Big Hugh Jackman in what was the musical I love so much?
What was it?
Well, I don't know. I don't care that I can't remember. What
Greatest
was it?
Showman.
Yeah, The Greatest Showman.
Anyway.
I didn't know he could sing.
Yeah. So I surprised her by getting her tickets to the Broadway play, the matinee, because, well, I'll be honest. After I told her we were going to see Harry Styles, within 5 minutes, she said, "Can we go see Phantom of the Opera too?" And it made me mad. It made me mad because it's like nothing is ever enough not with just my kid, with most kids, right? Most teenagers. You give them something and they want more. And so it kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
You give them an inch, they want the whole ruler.
I kind of snapped her head off.
Whoa.
When she said, I was like, we're going to New York City to see Harry Styles. And within 5 minutes, she's asking for tickets to Phantom of the Opera. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? You're asking me for more?
How much were those?
Those were like $100 each too, honey. It's Broadway. Actually, that's cheap because it's been on Broadway for so many years. When we went to see that Kinky Boots, it was hundreds of dollars per ticket.
So so we're $300 in with no hotel and no airfare.
Right. It was a lot.
Okay.
So anyway,
coming from the guy with $300.
I felt so bad about snapping her head off because she was like, well, what are we going to do all day while we're waiting to see Harry? I said, we'll walk around, we'll shop, we'll eat, da-da-da. She didn't want to hear any of that. So anyway, I ended up surprising her with it because I hadn't seen Phantom on Broadway, and it's a classic, right? So anyway, we fly into New York City, and because I have been reading all the stories of what's happening in the subway system and the people getting pushed in front of subway trains and people like basically having sex, walking around literally butt naked. There's a huge mental health problem going on in the country. And it's like, you got such a melting pot as New York City. It's really manifested there. So I was like, we're not getting on a subway, and taxis are expensive. But I got a hotel right across the street from Madison Square Garden where Harry Styles was performing. And let me just say, when you book, I booked it all by myself. I didn't use a travel agent. I went online trying to look for the best deals. And the pictures they post online, let's be honest, it's like when you're selling your house on Zillow. They post pictures. You're like, that's my house? That's what my house looks like? That's not my house with all the beautiful golden hued lighting and stuff and everything staged just right. So basically that's what this hotel was. Like kind of like a bait and switch. You get there and it's like, yeah, it's the same wallpaper. Yeah, it's the same track lighting, but the carpets are filthy and the place was infested with gnats.
Were the rooms, did they feel like hell reincarnated, like that Roosevelt we stayed in?
That's what I tried to tell him,
Good
Kelly.
Lord.
I told him, Kelly, despite the dirty stains on the carpet, we're wearing bedroom shoes.
The air conditioner worked?
And I got her a pair of flip-flops. The air conditioner worked. We couldn't hear the people next door yelling with babies screaming.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And it was so unbelievably, it was that winter Alan and I went to New York City where it was 0 degrees and we were suffocating in our room. It was so hot and we couldn't get the air conditioner to come on. And every time people around us would shower, the pipes would go, honk. You remember that?
What would they do?
Honk. The pipes.
What? One more time. Come on. One
Why?
more. Just one more, please. Ready? Now.
Why?
Just please. Come on, one more.
It was horrible. It was horrible. And that used to be our favorite place to stay, the Roosevelt, because the rooms are not that expensive and the lobby is gorgeous. But we were like, and the elevator system is so slow. They were like, never again are we staying at the Roosevelt. So I found this place. I'll just tell you, I ain't getting paid by nobody. It was the Stewart, but it's right across the street from Madison Square Garden. It was infested with gnats. I'm killing, and Emma Kelly's freaking out. She's like, I don't want to stand on the bathroom tiles or anything. She was so grossed out. I had to buy her flip-flops just to take a shower. I don't know. Otherwise, the room was fine except for the gnat situation. But that's enough about that. I'll get to, because Alan is pointing for me to do this.
Well, we got to do a little bit of this.
I know, but I've got so much to say.
I know, or we can't do all that.
All right. Well, real quick, put a pin in it. I'll get back to my story about my weekend in New York. But first,
it's called a tease.
We're all cringing at the pump. We go to our favorite restaurants and we're like, what happened to the prices here? Everything's gone so high. Just the stuff you used to pay nothing for is like, what? Inflation is hitting us all where it hurts, and it really does hurt. That's why we started using Upside. Upside's an incredible app for anyone who buys gas, who buys groceries, who dines out. With every purchase, you earn cash back thanks to Upside. Now, Alan, you have really been on board with Upside. I mean, Alan's been having a lot of fun with the app.
Well, look, you got to buy gas anyway.
Right.
Why don't you just use the Upside app, scan your receipt? There's gas stations in our neighborhood that partner with Upside, and I save money on every gallon of gas that I buy. So if you're buying groceries, if you're buying gas, you have to buy these things. Why not get cash back?
And it does add up. You save $2 here,
It adds up
$3
big
there.
time, yes.
And by the end of the month, you're finding you're saving tons of money. And to get started, you just download the free Upside app, use our promo code LOVIN, LOVIN, and you get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. Then you just claim an offer for whatever you're buying on Upside. You check in at the business, pay like you usually do with your credit or debit card, and you get paid. Now, if you compare it to, you say, okay, Kelly, I've got credit card rewards, or I've got a loyalty program for this grocery store or whatever, you can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside. So it really is worth checking into. Upside users are earning more than $1 million every week, which is probably why they have a 4.8 star rating on the App Store.
So download the free Upside app and use promo code LOVIN to get $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's $5 or more cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more using promo code LOVIN, LOVIN.
Because it's a sandwich and some lovin', right?
That's what I hear.
Okay, unpin it. I'm ready to keep talking. Okay, so the Stewart Hotel, like I said.
Okay, so Stewart Hotel, it's a wreck.
It wasn't a wreck. It was fine. It was fine. But gnats.
Idea of per night cost on that.
I can't remember.
Over 300
Per night? I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, for Manhattan,
Maybe.
that's not bad.
Maybe. I don't know. I really don't
I mean, if you
remember,
get in a
honestly,
hotel
Alan.
under 300 in Manhattan, that's pretty
I didn't
good.
Look, you'll get the credit card bill.
Oh,
But anyway, so that was fine. And okay, so we got checked in and we decided to go down because, we got there Friday evening. And I said, well, we have to go to Times Square, right? Y'all, I've talked to some people. They're like, we went to Times Square and it was beautiful. It was fun. I'm like, I don't know what part of Times Square y'all went to or if it was just the timing we went. We were so disappointed.
were you just in the main area there?
We went to the main area. I tried to take pictures of her in front of all the lights, but we were there kind of at dusk. So the lights weren't really lit up very well and it was hard to get a good
What
picture.
was
So I didn't
wrong?
get, just the lights weren't really up. It was dusk or whatever.
But I mean, why was it a disappointment overall?
I'm talking.
Oh.
Anyway, so we're walking around and it's so crowded.
Okay.
And it seemed like, I don't know, I remember Times Square feeling more open, but it's like it's so congested now and they have all these people dressed up as characters. They're dressed up as Spider-Man or a princess or whatever, and they're walking around with their masks off. And then they see somebody, like if somebody dares stop and talks to one of them, they all run and glom over on that person and they get in their face because they want you to take a picture with them and tip them. And I'm not saying that they are dangerous, but that's really intimidating. And I don't like that feeling when there are all these dirty characters are running up to you, pawing at you for a picture and then demanding money.
kind of
I
high,
don't like that
kind of
feeling.
high level panhandling.
It is definitely panhandling. So
I
anyway,
think I could throw on my Negan costume and do that up there.
Probably.
Earn a pretty good living, huh?
Probably. But there's a bunch of chain stores and chain restaurants, and that's fine. It's just crowded. And then McKelly's like, I'm hungry. And she wanted a piece of New York pizza. She said, I want New York pizza.
Like floppy, greasy New York
She
style.
wanted New York
That's
pizza.
my favorite kind.
And of course, there's a Sbarro right there. We're like, Sbarro is at the mall.
Blah.
So we're walking and she's grumpy. She's 15. When is she not grumpy? So I get out my app and I just, put in pizza. What pizza's near me. And as we're walking, I round a corner and I think it's called Little Italy Pizza. I put it in my Instagram stories and it's right there. I said, you want to go there? She said, yeah. So we walk in and that brusque New Yorker attitude, that's fine. Where they're just like, hurry up. What do you want? What do you want? So I was like, what do you recommend? I'll just take what you recommend. So anyway,
What do you recommend?
Yeah, because it's like, I just need a slice. I
Like
said,
a slice of pepperoni?
well, they had like 15 pizzas there.
Okay.
And then McKelly's like, I'll just take cheese pizza.
Yeah.
Because McKelly is she's on the journey to become, she wants to become a vegetarian, but she's taking baby steps. So right now she's given up beef and
We
pork.
get Chick-fil-A every day.
Exactly. She says she wants to become a vegetarian, but she's given up beef and pork. She won't even eat bacon right now. She is on the journey to becoming a vegetarian. She's taking baby steps, but she's like, I don't know if I can give up chicken.
Yeah.
I said, well, you don't have to. I said, you could, a lot of people just give up red meat because of what it does, takes so long to digest it.
Well,
So
there are
anyway,
a lot of proclamations that are made in this house.
I know. So anyway, she gets her
Not
cheese
just by Emma
pizza.
Kelly.
She gets her cheese pizza, and I get my veg. He did not care. I was like, I'll take whichever you recommend. He literally picked up a slice that was sitting right in front of him, put it in the toaster, and it was all vegetables. It was like mostly broccoli.
He was trying to get rid of it.
I basically had a piece of broccoli pizza. It wasn't fabulous.
So this New Yorker that had slung about 500 pieces of pizza this day.
Well, he was just the front man.
Kelly Raspberry Evans comes rolling in here and says, can you give me your best recommendation?
Yeah, and he just picked up the pizza literally in front of him and threw it in the oven to heat it up.
Wow.
So that's fine. So I tell him, McKelly, while I'm waiting, because our pizza has to be heated in the oven, go try to find us a table, because seating is very limited in these small establishments. So she goes and finds a seat, and I come and sit down, and it's like a little two-top. And right next to us is a long table for like 6 people, and there's just one lady sitting there. She's a young woman. I'd say she's in her mid-20s. Gorgeous. Mm-hmm. I mean, she was an Indian, like an Indian descent. Mm-hmm. Gorgeous. And she's sitting there, and she's talking to herself, and she's yelling at somebody who's not there, obviously having issues. Mm-hmm. And she has a boom box with her and all of her drug paraphernalia.
A boom box?
A little mini boom box, like a little mini, I shouldn't say boom box, it's like a Bluetooth speaker,
now,
larger one.
How did you determine this was drug paraphernalia?
And McKelly pointed it out to me. Marijuana is legal in New York City, and there are weed shops everywhere. And apparently she had all of her stuff there with her at the table. She had her feet propped up on the chair across from her, and she's sitting there and she's yelling and talking to nobody every once in a while. In the meantime, she's clearing the mucus out of her throat. And then when she'd get enough of it saved up, she would bend over and not just spit it, she would let the spit dribble, slowly stream from her mouth until it landed on the floor inside this establishment.
Wow.
And we're trying to eat.
Was she rolling a fatty?
No, she was already high and just out of her mind. And I told him, McKelly, I said, I'm gonna have to go say something to management. She's like, don't, Mom, don't. And anyway, by that time, the managers and store people are walking by, and they see her sitting there doing this. And everybody else in the restaurant comes in, and they're just kind of looking at her like, what is happening? And then I tell McKelly, I think I need to get a police officer. Something is really wrong here. And she's like, no, please, Mom, don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me.
It's not very sanitary.
All right. She's literally spitting on the floor in this restaurant.
Ew.
So after we kind of didn't even, I am the member of the Clean Plate Club, Raspberry. I'm like, I can't even eat. I mean, it was like, I can't. So we just got up and left. And then McKelly said, I just want to go back to the hotel. And that was our experience in Times Square. It was just so sad.
Well, that kind of sucks.
It was sad. So anyway, the next day we get up, and they're doing like a pre-merchandise sale for Harry Styles ahead of the show, and there's all this stuff going on. And I told him, McKelly, I really want to go to my favorite deli. Alan introduced me to this deli many years ago when we went to New York together for the first time. It's called 2nd Avenue Deli on 3rd Avenue, which is weird, right?
It is a authentic Jewish deli.
It is.
Very authentic.
We found out it opened at 11 a.m.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's because we haven't been since COVID.
Was the owner there, the guy that knows you?
The guy was
knows
there.
us?
Well, he doesn't know us because I have to remind him every time. Every time
Really?
we come. Yeah, he doesn't know us.
Did he talk about how good looking you were?
Always.
Yeah,
He's like, you lovely ladies, whatever.
That's his bit.
So I come in, he always does that. And he looks like, he acts like a little Woody Allen. That's kind of his demeanor. He'd like that thing. So I come in, I was like, hey, I said, I know you don't remember us, but we come here every time. We come from Plano, Texas, and da-da-da. We are literally the first ones there at 11 a.m. He's like, pick your seat wherever you want to sit. We sat down, we ordered our food, and Alan.
No good?
Not good.
What happened?
I don't know.
What did you order?
I ordered the pastrami, half a pastrami and a bowl of matzo ball soup.
And what was wrong?
The matzo ball soup was fine.
What was wrong with the pastrami?
It just was not good.
What was it good about
The bread was just cold bread, dry bread.
Really?
On pastrami, just plain pastrami. I had to ask for Russian dressing to give it something, some moisture. It was real. And Emma Kelly was like, she tried to be nice about it, but like later in the day, she's like, I don't know why you love that place so much. I said, Emma Kelly, that's not the way it used to be.
Every time I've been there, it's been fabulous.
There was hardly anybody in there.
Wow.
We were there. We got there at 11. There was like one other table came in and a few other tables. Like the people behind us, they sat down. They were like, because everybody has to remind the guy how much you love this place. He said, we walked all the way here from Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. That was far.
Yeah, it's a long way.
They walked because they love this deli so much.
Usually that place is packed, wall to wall. You remember?
Hardly anybody.
Wow, I wonder what's
So
going.
I don't know.
Happened.
I don't like. I'm like y'all. It was just. I was like wonk wonk. Another disappointment.
Kind of a fail.
But we went to Phantom of the Opera. It was great. Emma Kelly loved it, so that was a hit.
Okay,
that
so
was
things
a
are looking up.
success.
You
that
went to
was
Phantom.
looking up.
That's good.
Then we came back to the room, got ready. Emma Kelly was, and I didn't judge her for this because I remember when I was a teenager and went to see Duran Duran. I had to have the perfect outfit. I had to have everything just perfect, even though I knew there was no chance in heck they were going to see me. I just still, it meant a lot. So McKelly had to have the perfect outfit. She wanted her hair fixed. Her eyelashes weren't doing like she wanted. So she wanted to go buy false eyelashes.
Wow.
I mean, she was just really, but she
Did you all do that?
Did it all. Did it all. I was like, this is your weekend, honey. This is because I remember my first Duran Duran concert and how much it meant to me.
Where'd you get the false eyelashes?
At the CVS or Target, at Target.
Okay.
So anyway, got her all ready, went to the concert, and our seats were not great. They're not great, but we were in the building, right? We were in
Face value.
Face value, section 222, which is fine. We were on the 8th floor looking down, but Emma Kelly said, I'm going to tell you, when I say, she's like a typical teenager and moody and stuff, but she was so good. She said, don't complain about where these seats are. It makes us sound ungrateful.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that was I wasn't worried for me. I just wanted her to have the best experience, right?
Yeah.
So while she's watching the show, I said, don't worry, because everybody sits there on their phones filming everything. I said, you enjoy the show. I'll film everything so you can pay attention and be in the moment. Mm-hmm. So that's what I did. I filmed the whole show for her.
The entire show?
The whole thing. Except for one song. She said she didn't care if I filmed that one. I was like, good, because I need to rest for a minute here, because keeping track of Harry while he's running around, I'm not really able to enjoy the show as much.
Does he run around a lot?
He does, because he was trying to cover the whole stage. But the show was good. The show was really good. Afterwards, Emma Kelly, a long time ago, met another Harry Styles fan online who was from Charlotte, North Carolina, and she was at the show. So they met after the show, and that was really sweet and cute.
And they had never met before?
No.
Wow.
They'd only conversed online, and they'd FaceTimed a lot. She said, so I know it wasn't a man pretending to be a 15-year-old girl, because we FaceTimed. Emma Kelly's very aware of that stuff.
Kind of lewd.
Well, it's true, because I tell her all the time that these people can be parading as
for sure.
girls your age, and they could be men.
I know, for sure.
And so she was like, Mom, I FaceTimed her. I know she's real and she's here. And I was there with her, and we went and met her, and it was fine. Anyway, so the next day, checkout's at 11. I let Emma Kelly, because with a 15-year-old, you don't want to rush anything, right? You want everything to be pleasant. I booked a flight about, what was it, 2:30?
It was in the afternoon.
Like 2:30.
Because I was going to come pick you up about 5.
Yeah. And it wasn't the last flight of the day. It wasn't the first flight of the day, definitely. But I was like, it's still, if something happens, we can still get bumped to the next flight or the next flight or the next flight. There were still several flights lined up. Well, I got a text message on the app saying, there is a threat of bad weather. So just be aware of it in case you need to make alternate plans. And if you want to go ahead, you can make those plans now. I'm like, no, my flight's still scheduled to take off on time. Why would I need to make alternate plans?
And I'm back in Frisco, Texas, USA at a baseball scrimmage. Overcast, no rain, no thunder, no lightning.
But there was rain north of you and weather north of you, apparently.
Well, that's what I was doing when you were doing all this.
Right.
Yeah.
Before your phone died.
Right.
Right. Before the crisis hit, when Alan's phone died, when the crisis hit.
Right.
So anyway, so we get on board the plane. We go, if you ever fly through LaGuardia, and we were in the American Airlines terminal, and they have totally remodeled Terminal B. It was the first one they took on. They're doing the rest of the airport too. I've flown through LaGuardia
that's
before.
Nice, because that place
it was a dump. This place is so nice.
It used to be an S-hole.
Terminal B is done. They're redoing the rest of the airport now. But Terminal B, it looks like a shopping mall. It was gorgeous. Anyway, so I said, let's just, instead of finding a New York deli and having another experience, let's just go to the airport early. We'll eat at one of the nice restaurants there and chill and take our time and not be in a rush. Fine. So we get to the airport like almost 3 hours before our flight, like 2.5 hours before.
Mm-hmm.
So we're fine. We're eating. Flight's boarding on time. In fact, they're closing the door 5 minutes before scheduled takeoff.
And I get a text. We're in our seats, pushing off.
Yeah, 5 minutes early.
Yeah.
So we get to the runway and then we sit and sit and sit. And it wasn't even 30 minutes. It wasn't anything ridiculously long. Sometimes you have to wait in line. And then the pilot comes on and says, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry to inform you. Yeah. Very sorry to inform you that I have been at work since 3 a.m. And we were hoping to take off in time, but there's some bad weather ahead of us and we weren't able to get off in time. So now I have timed out.
I have a dumb question.
Mm-hmm.
If he had been working since 3, I'm assuming it's a he.
Yes, it was a man.
If he was working since 3 a.m., why did he get on that airplane 45 minutes earlier?
This was my question. It's because if we had have taken off, he would have timed out in the air, right? I don't understand. This is a question coming from an ignorant place. And ignorance, it just means you just don't know what you don't know. So that was my question, is why would he even be in that cockpit if he only had 30 minutes to spare with the way airline travel is lately? So he timed out. So we go back to the gate and we're sitting towards the back of the plane. And so we were not among the first to get off.
No first?
And he tells us, go to the gate agent and she'll be able to help you make other arrangements. So we get off the plane and we get in line right there at our gate. And we're standing there for a few minutes. And the woman finally comes over and she goes, y'all are in the wrong line.
Whoa.
I cannot help you.
Oh.
You need to go to the, some other gate or gate 25.
So she was yelling at her customers.
Because we're just like, I don't know. I guess
wow.
She was just telling us how it was, Alan. She was telling us how it was.
What if we said, y'all are listening to the wrong podcast? Y'all need to just go somewhere else.
That wouldn't be very polite. So I told him and Kelly, well, come on. And so we went to the first place where everybody was, and that line was long. I said, well, let's go try this other gate 25 or whatever. And the line was much shorter. However, y'all, is this a long, boring story? I'm just telling you what happened.
It's a long story, but I'm here. I'm here for you.
Riveted?
I'm here for you.
So the problem is there were big parties traveling together. Like there was one party, it was a group of 7, and English was not their first language. Their first language was French.
Good eye, mate.
So this party of 7 is up there, and it's like
Do you scuba?
the longer they're taking, I know there are more flights just being, by the other gate at the other place. Tick, 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 going.
The
so I'm
stuff
like,
in your hair. The
I'm
stuff
on
in your hair is like cement.
right. So I'm on the American Airlines app, as you're told to do. I'm trying to be savvy, and I'm like, I'm going to try to rebook myself, and I'll worry about changing fees and whatever later. I just need to get home.
You're going to do all this online.
So I find a flight to Houston. I'm like, I'll take it because I can rent a car in Houston and drive home, still have Emma Kelly back for school, and I'll be back for the Kid Craddock morning
Means
show.
that I'm one day closer to you.
And a lot of money out of pocket.
Nationally syndicated.
Trying to get home. So I get the flight. I get it. But then it says, and I also put in the insurance so I could cancel it and get a refund in case I got to the gate and got a different flight. So I was willing to pay that insurance, whatever. And then it said, all right, confirm. I confirmed it. Now you're going to get a text message to really confirm it, to enter the code. And then you'll have your flight. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for the text that never comes.
No text message.
That never comes. And the next thing I know, before I even get to the gate, they say, you have been rebooked to Pittsburgh.
Oh.
So I was rebooked like on an 8:30 p.m. flight to Pittsburgh.
What are you going to do in Pittsburgh?
Sleep at the airport because then I was booked on the flight coming back to Dallas at like 8:00 in the morning. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I could either confirm it or change it. So I was like next in line, and I went up to the lady. I said, look, if I'm going to have to spend the night in the airport, I don't want to have to fly to Pittsburgh to spend the night in the airport. I'd rather just spend the night here. Right. So she's tick, 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 trying to, I said, look, I heard somebody else say they were going to get a flight through Charlotte into Dallas. She goes, those are all gone. Can you get me to Houston? Can you get me to San Antonio? Can you get me to Austin?
San Antonio.
Drive home. They're all gone. The only flight, she said, there's a there's 3 flights in the morning. She said the 5:55 and like the 7:25 or something are already gone, but I can get you on the 8:30 flight. I said, if that's all you got, I've got to take it, you know? And so I said, can I get put on standby for the earlier 2 flights?
You have no status.
She said they are not only overbooked, they are now 60 deep in the standby list. I said, so don't get on the standby list. She said, there's no point. She said, there's 60 people ahead of you.
So this is a hopeless situation.
Hopeless. But you know what? I wasn't upset. I wasn't like the lady a couple of people ahead of me who was yelling at this poor ticket lady.
She was yelling?
Yelling.
What was she saying?
She was upset because she said, and I'm not going to yell as loud as she did, but she's like, I wasn't even supposed to be at this airport. I was flying out of Newark. I got an email telling me that I had to come to this airport. I'm not even supposed to be here. So I was already inconvenienced once. And now she wasn't able to get a flight until the next morning.
You know,
either.
she kind of has a point.
She does have a point.
If you're not going to fly her ass out of LaGuardia, why would you have her come over?
She does have a point, but it's not this person's fault.
No, I understand, but I can understand why she's pissed off. It's like, why'd you make me drive over here?
And every single person is asking the same thing. Can I get a hotel voucher? Can I get a food voucher? No, you can't because it's weather related.
And
oh, really?
And
it's weather related, or is it the fact that the pilot timed out?
And the kids in Frisco looking up at the sky.
Yeah, Alan's not. His phone's dead.
I'm looking up at the sky. It's overcast. I see patches of blue sky. No rain.
And
Nothing.
Also no phone service because I'm texting him nonstop, letting him know play by play what's happening.
So the scrimmage I was at, I'm not trying to hijack it, but
okay.
just what I was doing.
You need to insert your voice in this conversation every once in a while.
Well, while you were doing this, my phone dies. And I'm like, awesome. Kelly's stuck in New York and I don't have a phone. So,
but it's all right. I had so many. Sin Galvin
Yeah.
was helping me. I had so many podcast listeners. Well, the podcast listeners didn't know at this point what was happening, but Sin
So
was helping
Dylan's
me.
scrimmage went long. So I thought, well, I'll just go to my truck and I'll just turn on the truck, charge it, watch the end of his scrimmage, go out there and let it charge for 15, 20 minutes, and I'll have some service so I can see what Kelly's doing. Go out to the truck. Do you think I have a phone cable in the truck?
You're supposed to. You usually do.
I usually do, but I didn't because Dylan always loses his phone cable. So I had pulled the one out of the truck for Dylan so he could charge his iPad at home. So I didn't have a phone cable.
Oh, well.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just wait until the scrimmage is over and we'll go home and then I can charge my phone and see what Kelly's doing. Well, Dylan's scrimmage ends and he's like, Daddy, remember you promised me we could go to Dave and Buster's.
Oh, no.
And Matthew can come too, right? Because that's what you said before the game, right? I'm like, buddy, we got to get home. I got to charge my phone. Kelly's in New York. I don't know what's going on. That was not a popular.
I'm sorry.
That was not a popular decision.
It's my fault.
Well, no, it wasn't your fault. I'm just saying I was kind of caught in the middle there.
know.
But he understood. At the end of the day, he understood.
Yeah.
So we went home, charged my phone. I had 1 million messages from you.
Yeah.
And
By that point, I was already booked on the 8:30.
you were booked on the 8:30. Okay. So I'm back at home. Back to
All right, I'm going to pick up on that story in just 1 second because while I was gone, I got something in the mail a couple weeks ago, and I was like, what is this? And it was actually these Backbone little play systems. And I was like, if you are a gamer, or even if you're not, if you're just kind of like a passive gamer, this is really cool. It's the ultimate gaming experience. Backbone is a universal gaming essential that instantly enhances your gaming experience on your mobile phone. So Backbone just released an officially licensed controller for PlayStation, Backbone 1 PlayStation Edition. It's a special edition brought to life in collaboration with PlayStation design team and inspired by the design of the PS5 DualSense controller. You simply, listen, I could do this. You simply plug in your iPhone to the Backbone and you can enjoy console quality controls as you play console games via remote play or cloud streaming services and app store games. So while I'm in New York City, Alan's got the boys here, Cole's here with his little buddy Christian, and they both got on these Backbones and had the time of their lives.
They saw the Backbones sitting there on the end table. They said, hey, can we use those? And I said, absolutely, guys. Let's get them out and let's test them. Let's see how they work. They plugged them into their phones. They downloaded a free app. They loaded a game called Apex Legends, okay? They went upstairs, were messing around with their backbones. They came back down, and I said, so how was it? On a scale of 1 to 5, how was it? They both said it was a 12.
A 12 on a scale of 1 to 5.
I'm like, are you serious? They said, yes, these are so cool. And I'm like, awesome.
They're so cool because you're not tied like, in our game room. They're kind of tied to their chairs. But this, you could take it with you. You can play it anywhere. Backbone is really cool. I mean, if you're looking for a gift for a gamer in your life, you're like, I don't know what else to get them. Get the Backbone. Go to playbackbone.com/sandwich now to order yours.
Yeah, to order your Backbone for a limited time and get free access to over 350 console games and perks. Backbone is now the official partner of Diablo Immortal.
Whoa.
Not only is the game specifically optimized for Backbone, but you will also receive $10 of in-game perks. Find your next adventure at playbackbone.com/sandwich.
We highly recommend Backbone.
And that one's got the 14-year-old seal of approval as well.
On a scale of 1 to 5, a 12.
Scale of 1 to 5, a 12.
Very cool. We're very excited to have them on as a sponsor of the podcast as well. All right, back to my very long story. I promise you it's coming to an end. I'm going to bring it home for Jerome here.
Wow.
So I was told, 8:30 a.m. flight. So I looked at Emma Kelly, and she's been just so good, about let's not say anything about the tickets because, we're just so thankful and we're good, happy to be here. So I said to her, look, Emma Kelly, at this point, what time was it? It was probably like 5 or 6 o'clock by the time I finally got up to the service desk after we deplaned and finally waited in line. I said, look, if we go to a hotel and spend the night, I got to pay for a cab to get there, or we can stay at the airport hotel. I was looking online at all these options, and the airport hotel did not have great ratings, and we could take a shuttle. I said, but then we'd have to get back up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to be here. I said, would you really mind if we just stay the night at the airport? I said, the restaurants here are really nice. They have stores. We can hang out and we'll be fine. She's like, that's fine.
So just
spend the night in the terminal.
Kelly told me this over the phone. And to be honest, TBH, I wasn't like super pumped about this.
Right.
It's just you and Emma Kelly sleeping in public on a chair in the terminal. I know a lot of people do it.
A lot of people do it.
But it's just...
It wasn't an unsafe environment.
It didn't seem safe to me.
It wasn't an unsafe environment. I'm telling you, if it was the old terminal, I might be like, ooh, I don't know. But it was like sleeping in a mall. It really was. But anyway, the point is I didn't sleep. So anyway, we went into the area. We kind of went around our gate. We had dinner. We went and I had to buy a sweatshirt because it was kind of cold in the airport, and I bought a sweatshirt, and Emma Kelly bought some books, and we were like, oh, we're going to watch an episode of Gilmore Girls. We're going to do all this stuff. We didn't do any of it. She didn't read a page of a book. We didn't watch an episode of Gilmore Girls. But what I did do is after we ate dinner and we're sitting there for a while, I said, I'm just going to go Instagram Live. Just let everybody know what's going on, to keep myself awake. Because I decided at that point, there's no way I'm going to go to sleep in an airport. I need to stay awake. Emma Kelly can sleep, but I need to be aware of what's going on.
And I think I had passed out at this, but didn't you do this real late at night?
It was late.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to be awake. So it was fine. I was like, I'm just going to stay up. It's not a big deal. So I'm on Instagram Live, and I'm just talking to everybody and telling them what's happening. And I'm saying, this is about midnight at this point. And Eastern time. And everybody in the terminal had left at this point. The man even came by that works for the airport to make sure I was like, well, how could you be down here without a ticket? But he said, do you have a flight scheduled for the morning? I said, yes. Do you know what terminal you're at? And I was like, yeah, gate. And I was like, yes. He was just making sure everybody was, I guess, legit supposed to be there.
Was
I don't
he
know.
a train conductor?
No, he was
something?
just like doing a head count, I guess.
Huh.
I don't know what he was doing, but he, there you go. A lot of interesting things happen at the airport overnight. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm just talking Instagram Live and telling people about the drama and that I'm on the 8:30 flight now. And as I'm sitting there talking, people are like, Kelly, that flight's been canceled. And I'm on my phone. And I said, well, I haven't gotten a notification. Usually American Airlines with the app, you get a notification. Bing, bing.
Were they just looking it up
loading.
for you?
I don't know. I think people were trying to see if there were other alternatives. I don't know what they...
Yeah, because somebody messaged me for you to get on a Southwest flight.
Yeah, but I was in the American terminal, and it was a bunch of, I don't know. But I don't know if the Southwest was any better.
I don't know, babe.
So anyway, I'm sitting there and I was like, really? Serious? I mean, literally my face was like, oh, what? And I said, y'all, I have to go. I'll be right back. So I got off Instagram live, and everybody in the wing I was at, all the gates were closed. So I went around the corner, and there was one gate that was still open because the plane came in late and the people were getting off the plane. It was the last one of the night. And the people that were working the counter there, they were ready to go. They were all packed up, ready to go. They were just waiting for this last passenger to get off and the crew, and they were shutting the doors and going home. So I walked up to them and I said, and you could see they were like, what? I said, excuse me. I said, my app still shows that my flight is scheduled for 8:30 in the morning, but I'm getting a lot of messages from my friends because my podcast listeners are my friends.
So wait a second. You walk up to these employees of the company.
They're ready to go home.
That
it's
you
midnight.
Purchased tickets from, and they looked at you and said, what?
They weren't being rude. They were just like, they just looked at me like, what? You know, they weren't being rude. They just looked at me.
They didn't say, how can I help you?
No, because it's late. And I mean, they're going home. They were done. Honey, why are you so negative?
Why am I negative? I'm not negative.
They said to you, what? They were just looking at me like, what? You know, because they were going home is the point. So I walked up to them. I said, my app says that my flight is still booked. I said, but I've got my friends messaging me that my 8:30 flight has been canceled. And she's like, okay. And she really wasn't saying anything. She just put down what she was doing, and she started click, 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 click. And and the guy there was like 3 people, and the other guy back there, he got on his phone and stuff. And they're like, yeah, it's canceled. I was like, oh my gosh. I said, what can I do? I said, I know it's late. I said, but is there any way you can book me on something else? And she's like, okay. And she's click, 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 click. She says, well, there's a 5:55 a.m. flight. I said, but I was told that was sold out and there were like 60 people on standby. She said, we have 3 seats if you want 2 of them. I said, of course I do. She said, but you won't be sitting with your daughter. I was like, that's okay. She's 15. She can sit by herself. And I said, are you sure? And the guy behind her said, we got you.
Whoa.
We know our history.
Whoa.
Our history with we got you is not good.
That usually means they don't got you.
When any service person, salesperson, wait staff tells you, I got you.
I got you.
They don't got you.
They don't got you.
But he said, we got you. And
wow.
I'm like, the fear that went through me. And anyway, when she's clicking, I started getting tears in my eyes. I said, y'all, I know you've probably not seen tears of happiness today. I said, but these are tears of happiness if y'all are making this happen for me. And she said, sure. She goes here and she printed out the tickets. I said, these are legit tickets? She said, yes. And there was a seat assignment and everything. I was like, oh my gosh. So they did that for me and they left. They went home. So I got back on Instagram Live.
Did
and I was
say my pleasure?
No, that's Chick-fil-A.
Oh.
So I got back over and I went on Instagram Live again and I was like, y'all saved my butt. It was such a God thing because if I hadn't decided to stay at the airport and stay up all night, and if I hadn't decided to go Instagram Live, if I'd have gone to that hotel and gone to sleep, I wouldn't have known that the flight got canceled till I woke up the next morning.
So if you had taken my advice and
a lot of other people's advice.
Yeah, and gone to a hotel, you might not have come back until Tuesday.
There's no telling when I would have come back because everybody that had that 8:30 flight and got back to the airport around 6:30 the next morning would have found out the same time the flight's been canceled.
So when you called George and told him all this, what did he say?
I texted.
What did he say?
I didn't text George. I texted Robert.
I thought you said you texted George. I said, you texted
maybe
George? And you said, yeah.
Maybe I did. I texted George. I think I texted George, Sean, and Robert, and JC, and Big. I texted everybody and just said, look, I've exhausted every avenue, but I'm not going to be there.
Hey, Kelly, you up there in New York City? New York City.
Is this Sean?
Yeah, it's kind of a weak Sean.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, I ate a chicken fried steak tonight.
Oh, it's a little heavy. So anyway, it was a God thing, everything, it's like my dad always says, God's in the delays, right? And I don't know why we didn't make that first flight. I don't know. I'm going to tell you, they saved themselves a lot of money blaming it on the weather.
There was no weather.
Well, there was weather.
There
obviously.
was weather, but like a day later.
Well, the reason we didn't take off, they said, was because of weather. But the pilot timed out. If we had taken off on time, I don't understand that. But if it's weather related, they don't have to give you food voucher. They don't have to give you airport or hotel voucher. and you're just sitting there. So it's like, but once I like a lot of other people, I'm sure they had, I mean, yeah, I missed a day of work. But look, I've been at that job for 28 years. I've called in sick exactly one day in 28 years.
Amen.
And this is the first time that I've ever had this happen. If I was traveling all the time, boozing it up and couldn't come in the next work because I missed my flight, that'd be another thing. So it wasn't like I felt like I was going to get in a tremendous amount of trouble. I don't like being a burden because now, you know, I couldn't do Love Letters to Kelly. The Showbiz Top 5.
Love Letters to Kelly.
Anna had to do it. But what I did was I sat there on my cell phone and wrote the Showbiz Top 5. That was hard. But I did that and sent that in. So I did the best I could. But I was at a peace about it because there was nothing else I could do. What are you going to do? But it just all worked out. That the listeners were there for me to help me when my husband couldn't be.
Wow.
Because his phone was dead.
Clap. Now, it was a hurricane when I came to pick you up.
Yeah. So the next day we get in, we are on that 5:55 a.m. flight, and we land at the airport, and we land like 30 or 40 minutes early.
No way you're going to get a gate at DFW.
And that's what they said.
No
They
way.
said, well,
No
we
way.
landed 40 minutes early, which is a good thing. But unfortunately, there's another plane
Every
at
single
our
time.
gate.
Every single time.
Well, if you land early, that's the problem because they reserve the gates. He said, so we have to wait for that plane to push off. So that's fine. So we're like, well, it's fine. We were 30 or 40 minutes early anyway. Alan can't pick me up yet because he's dropping off the boys at school. So it's fine. Then he comes on about 5 minutes later and he says, well, the power is out in the terminal and there are 5 or 6 planes ahead of us. Everybody's waiting to get a
Governor
gate.
Abbott's fault.
So the power is out in the terminals. So then we finally get off the plane, and then I told Alan, I said, I'll figure out which baggage claim we're at, and then I'll tell you where to pick us up. We go to the first baggage claim, it's closed for mechanical issues. We go to the second baggage claim, it's closed. We had to go to the third baggage claim. It was just like, what is happening? But it's fine. We got home safe and sound, and it's just a little later than we thought.
Well, I
and then
thought
Kelly and
all
I
in all,
slept all day.
I thought all in all, you handled it pretty well.
What else can you do? Like I said, I didn't have a pressing, like I didn't miss a wedding. I didn't miss a cruise, you know, like we've talked about previous people but I did learn some lessons. Let me tell you the lessons I learned from this trip.
You think we can kind of wrap it up here in a
Yeah,
minute?
I'm going to tell you the lessons I learned.
Okay.
The first one being book the first flight of the day because you have a better chance. I would have had a better chance of getting out that day if I'd have booked like the very first flight of the day, even if you're traveling with a teenager. That's number one lesson I learned. Number two lesson I learned is I don't care what temperature it is outside, always carry either a sweatshirt, a jacket, or a wrap. Because when you're in that airport, it was freezing.
I thought you had
I didn't have anything with me.
I thought you had an Emma, Kelly, and me sarong or something like that. What happened to that thing? Remember that cape you used to put on?
I didn't pack it with me
Oh.
because it's summer and
'Cause
I
you
was
could use-
going.
oh, yeah, that's
I was
true.
going to New York. But when you're traveling, I was in a freezing cold airport overnight. I could have used it if it wasn't too cold. I could use it as a pillow.
We need to invest in a couple of those neck pillows and just be those people.
I don't ever like them. I can't ever sleep in them.
Really?
And the number 3 thing I learned is always bring your AirPods, whatever.
What happened to your Raycons?
My Raycons. I didn't bring them. And now if you fly on American Airlines, they want you to watch everything on your phone. And so I couldn't watch anything or do anything. I didn't have my AirPods. So that's the 3 things I learned. Book the first flight, bring a wrap jacket or a sweatshirt, and don't forget your AirPods, your Raycons.
Those are good tips.
Yeah.
Good
And that
tips.
was a very, very long-winded story.
It's 52 minutes and 59 seconds.
Babe,
What? No, it was good, though. It was a lot of stuff.
it was a lot, but I feel like people were invested in it.
They were. A lot of people were trying to help you, including me.
So sweet, however many people were on Instagram Live. If they hadn't gotten on that app, if they hadn't have told me when they did, those gate agents would have left, and I would have been just stuck until the next morning. And they said that the next flight cruise and airline staff comes on at 3 a.m., FYI. So that would have had to wait till 3 a.m. to get help.
Yeah.
But anyway, it all worked out.
It all worked out.
And I'm here to podcast another day.
Well, I just have a quick update. The customer service Fussy Britches gal that I had the run-in with, remember?
About what?
She couldn't find my information, and then she accused me of
at the jewelry store.
Yeah, it wasn't a jewelry store.
The jewelry broker, whatever it was.
I went back because I went back to...
You need to refresh everybody's memory, right? You need to explain what happened.
Well, last podcast, I went up to the front desk and she said, "What's your name?" And I had a name tag on, and she still asked me what my name was. She put in my name, and then she couldn't find it. You said
Alan Evans.
Manager comes over, and then oh, you're in here as Walter Evans. And then she said, "So is Alan not your name?" And I looked at her and I'm like, "No, Alan's my middle name, and I go by it if that's okay with you," something like that. So I had the big run in with her.
Yeah.
So what I was doing was Kelly had a loose stone in her wedding ring, and we were also going to get it inspected and cleaned. So I took her wedding band.
Oh, it's cleaned so good.
I took her wedding band and her engagement ring down to this place for them to do that. So I had to leave it for a couple of days while Kelly's in New York. I go back to pick it up. Go back.
Same lovely lady sitting at the desk.
Same lady. She goes, "What's your name?"
She didn't remember you?
No kidding.
Didn't remember you?
Didn't know me from frickin' Adam. "What's your name?" I said, "Alan Evans." And she goes, "Oh, yeah. You were the guy whose name was really hard to find." No kidding. And I'm like, I just kind of shrugged my shoulders.
Yep,
I didn't really even know what to say. Man, and she goes, "Okay, wait a minute. Let me go get your ring. Your rings." Not kidding. She comes back and has your two rings together wadded up in a piece of tissue paper and hands them to me. And I'm like, "Are they done?" And I looked at them. They're like, "Oh, yeah, they're really, really shiny." But she just gave me your two rings
in a piece of Kleenex.
And these aren't inexpensive items here. And, if you have them together, they're going to scratch, right? If I put them in my pocket in a piece of tissue paper, they're probably going to, you could lose them, whatever. Manager runs over and says, "Oh, Alan, here, hold on." She gets little individual baggies, puts the rings in the baggies, individual baggies, and then puts the baggies in a little tiny manila envelope. She goes, "Here you go. You'll want to carry it this way so they don't scratch." And I'm thinking, who is this person and why is she working here?
Because, Alan, they just need a butt in the seat. That's what's come down to, right?
And I'm always very nice and polite.
I'm sure.
I am. I
go by Alan if that's all right with you.
What I'm saying right now, I'm thinking in my head as all this is happening. But I'm very polite. I'm like, "Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay.
This works better than tissue paper."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. It is. I want to get whatever they must use a steamer or something to clean it.
They use a steam cleaner.
Because I use Living with Landon's Windex and dishwashing liquid formula to clean the diamond, and it really does work well. But on the band itself, it gets so much stuff crusted on it. You need that hot steam to get it off. I want a jewelry steamer. That's my next gift.
Why do people mess with me so much?
Maybe they're not messing with you. You're just taking it personally.
Well, like they roll Splenda at me like dice,
but see, they would have done that to anybody.
They put Splenda in my chips, and
I know
they say you can't have double broccoli, and they call tea coffee and coffee tea. And,
I know.
And then they wad up your very expensive rings and tissue paper.
Have you ever considered it's not them, it's you?
So you think
maybe you're attracting those negative things.
You think what I should have done when he said, "No, it's coffee," and I drink it and it's clearly tea.
Right.
I just say, "You're right. It's coffee."
I don't know, but something about you is attracting these negative customer
it's my
service
fault.
experience. See, I sit down and I'm like, "Hey, Chance, I know another Chance." Bubble, bubble, bubble. And I look at what wonderful things happen to me.
So you think it's my energy?
I think your energy is attracting customer service.
One of our very, very best customers in the live studio audience just sent a message that says she probably said, "That Walter guy comes strutting in here with his butt on his shoulders."
Yeah, probably is what she said.
Not at all what happened. I go bouncing in there, happy-go-lucky AE, with a Starbucks in one hand, just Couldn't be any happier.
Really?
Nope.
Okay. Well, at some point, we got to look at other, because it can't be everybody else.
Wow. Another one of our very best customers, I guess, who's seen me in swimwear says, "What butt?" Now, you like that one, huh?
We do have a tiny tush.
You like that
You
one?
have a tiny tush.
I don't have a tush.
Exactly. It's so tiny.
Yeah, I know.
All right. We have
All right,
talked
babe.
a lot.
Well,
Hey, real quick. Alan and I are going to a podcast convention this week. Tomorrow night, we have a big cocktail reception where we're going to meet a lot of advertisers and things like that. And then on Thursday, we're on a panel where we're like, they're going to play the first 30 seconds of different podcasts, and we're going to evaluate them and critique them just on like that instant first impression. And I told Alan, I said, we're in big trouble because the same time our panel is happening, one of the biggest podcasters in the country has a panel exactly the same time as ours. So we're going to be lucky if anybody is in ours, but we'll have a lot to talk about next podcast because that'll be the recap of the podcast convention.
like 3 people in ours.
If we're lucky. If we're lucky. It's like what timing? What great timing.
Who's going to be the good guy and who's going to be the bad guy?
I'll be the good guy.
So I'll be prickish. I'm going to be the Simon, and you're going to be the Gwen. Oh, is that 2 shows?
It's 2 different shows.
That's 2 different
yeah.
shows? Are you going to...
Simon and Paula.
Yeah, Paula.
Yeah,
you're going
I'll
to be Paula, and
Paula.
I'm going to be Simon?
I'll be Paula. It is what it is.
You're going to be Blake, and I'll be Adam Levine?
Sure.
He's kind of prickish, isn't he?
He's no longer a part of The Voice.
Oh.
He left.
He wasn't a mean guy on that, was he?
Cocky, but I don't think necessarily mean.
Was he a show stealer?
Well, he and Blake would go at each other. I
Yeah.
never really watched The Voice. The Voice was never my wheelhouse.
Okay. All right, babe. Well, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, I'm glad you're back.
I've told that story now for the last time. The last time. I told it on the Kid Craddock show, a much more abbreviated version. You got the full story here.
Yeah.
But I'm done telling it now.
Well, we're glad you're back. Everybody's glad you're back. The doggies are glad you're back. Cole is glad you're back. He texted you today.
I
Are you back from New
know.
York yet? Boys, very interested, always interested in your whereabouts.
They love me.
I keep telling Kelly all the time.
They love me and miss me.
Where's Kelly? When's Kelly coming back?
What's Kelly doing right now?
What's Kelly doing now? Is Kelly at work? Did Kelly go to work today? What time does Kelly get home?
Isn't that sweet?
Always. They're always asking me,
I
like,
love
where
that.
you are.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
But if it makes you feel any better, when you're not here, they always come downstairs. Where's Daddy? Where's Dad? Cole will just come downstairs because he loves to be up in his room playing with his backbone now.
Yeah.
And he'll
yeah.
come downstairs and he'll just kind of wander back into the laundry room. We have another refrigerator where we keep drinks, and he'll wander back out with nothing in his hand. I'll say, Cole, can I help you with anything? Where's Dad? Well, not here. They're always asking where we are.
Yeah.
Very curious about our whereabouts.
Very curious.
Anyway,
All right, babe. Well, I love you desperately.
I love you too.
I love our listeners desperately.
I love y'all, and thank y'all. Thank y'all to all of you who were with me this weekend on Instagram Live helping me out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that was very nice of them.
Very nice.
Sure was. But I'm sure we'll podcast again real soon.
Follow me on Kelly Raspberry on Instagram if you don't already.
And in the immortal words of the great Keanu Reeves, life is good when you have a good sandwich.